Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at this iPhone 4S right here, which has a broken screen, and we're going to be seeing if I can actually repair this thing. Before we actually go into that, I do want to touch on a little bit of a brief story on how that I actually got this thing. This was sitting on a thrift store shelf for $2 or $3, and it was pretty much a no-brainer to get. I did not know if it was the 4 or the 4S, but even then, really any iPhone for $2 or $3 is pretty much a steal. So I ended up buying this, and it turns out that not only is the actual screen glass cracked up here, but it also has a little bit of a digitizer slash LCD problem as well. I'm not sure if this camera really shows what the issue is, but it's very hard to read any of that text. There's basically like a big white frosty layer over like everything else, and you can't really see it on video, but you can kind of see when I let go to actually swipe the iPhone to unlock, you can see that like this whole side of the screen here, you can't really read anything. So the time right now is 6 o'clock, and you can only see the 6 and the first 0. You cannot see this side over here. So what I did is I ended up going on eBay and purchasing this right here. And what is this, you might ask? Well, it is a new iPhone 4S screen, the whole assembly right here. And in this video, I'm going to be seeing how to actually do this, kind of showing you guys how that you can do this. I've never worked on an iPhone 4S before. I've worked on some of the later models, but I've never actually changed a screen out on this model. So this is going to be my first time, and I'm just going to basically be documenting my experience. From what I have read online, mainly on the iFixit guide, this is a much more difficult procedure to do on the 4S, and I believe the 4 as well, because you actually have to go from the back. You have to take this back panel off, take all of the components out, or at least most of them out, and then you get to the screen. It's not like most iPhones are today, where there's 2 screws on the bottom and the front glass actually will separate from the rest of the internals. So this one is a little bit different. We're going to be seeing how easy or how difficult. I expect this to be pretty difficult. Something also very nice from the eBay seller that I bought this from, he also gave me a kit of all the tools that you need. So I might actually just be using this. I do have the iFixit ProTech toolkit, so I don't really necessarily need this, but it is nice that he actually included it, and they look to be some pretty decent quality parts. We also have some what looks like some adhesive strips in there, and I'm thinking that might be because if we have to take the battery out. So yeah, what I'm going to be doing is I'm not sure if I'm going to leave the camera here or if I'm going to move it around at all, but yeah, I'm just going to be, like diving right into this repair, and we're going to see how difficult that this is. So the first thing that we're going to do, according to the iFixit guide, is we're going to power off the iPhone. It does say to make sure that the battery is discharged to below 25%, and we are at 27%. I don't know if you can see that right there, but I have basically left this thing on ever since that I got it. And the funny thing is, the whole device seems to be pretty much functional beside of the actual screen, but I just have a feeling that this thing is going to be either iCloud locked, because there is a password on here. I don't know if you can really see the screen very well, but it's on the password, like the actual password screen where you would enter the password in. So the only way to actually remove the password is to I was going to say reformat, but I mean reinstall iOS on this. But I have a feeling it's going to be iCloud locked, but it'll still be, a fun project, and it was only $2 anyway, so, why not? The first thing we're going to do is, power off the iPhone. I was about to, start, actually taking the screws out from the bottom. That's something you don't want to do. So we're going to power off the iPhone. If I can move the slider across. I don't know. See, it's not really working very well. I think it's powering off. I was able to slide the slider across. What we're going to do is we're going to take, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to edit this video yet. I might cut a lot of this out. But we're going to take a panel lobe screw, and this is the other thing. I'm gonna have to make sure that I keep all the screws. I'm probably gonna leave them in this little styrofoam type container here. It's not really meant for that, but whatever. we need to get the panel lobe screwdriver. Is there one of these? Has to be. I don't know if this is it. We got to remove these 2 screws from the bottom. So we're going to pull those 2 little tiny screws out of here. I actually think, if I do remember, I think I may have changed out the battery on one of these phones. But it obviously wasn't this one. And honestly, like, the battery seems to be pretty okay. So what we do now is you basically take the phone, push up on this glass back, and it apparently just comes off. I think I do remember doing this on an iPhone 4 before. It's not one. Okay, so there we go. So it just comes right off like that. This is a piece of glass, so you know that is pretty nice. And here's the inside of the phone. So we got the battery here. We've got you know, this like little notice saying authorized service provider only, which I'm not an authorized service provider, but this thing's out of warranty anyway, so you know, no big deal there. But yeah, this is going to be like the whole challenge, is because we got to get this. We got to take all these parts out to get to the screen. As I was saying before, in most iPhones, you know, like, or you know, at least most modern iPhones that were made, I think they maybe started with the 5. When you take those 2 screws out, this front glass will separate. You have to use usually like a suction cup, and so they actually made this one a little bit easier to get into, but the screen is going to be a little bit of a challenge because we got to take all these parts out. It's probably going to say the first thing we got to do is remove the battery. So there are 2 screws on the battery connector. So I think these are just Phillips screws. So we got this right here. Where are these at? They're right here. Those tiny little screws right there. Pretty much everything in this is going to be very tiny. I'm thinking it's just like a cover. It's the whole connector. So we got to get one of these opening tools and basically pry out the battery connector. See, this is one of those things like I'm going to try to do on camera, but it's probably not going to be... Man, this is... Okay, let's try this one. They included 2 of these things. These are very similar to the ones that iFixit gives you. Just got to get underneath there. Okay, this thing is not wanting to come out. So I had to go in from this side, and now the battery is disconnected from the phone. So I have to keep... They got these 2 tiny little screws. I'm probably going to lay them out on here. I'm going to probably have to get like something better to use eventually because there's a lot of screws you're going to have to take out. So there we go. So battery's taken out. Or, not, I mean, not the battery's taken out, but it's actually disconnected from the board. So hopefully it like won't, you know, catch fire. So what we got to do here, let's see what the next thing to do. Didn't we already take it out? So next thing we got to do is take the battery out. So that is something that I figured we're going to need to do because of the 2 battery adhesive strips that they included in the package. So we're going to have to take one of these things. We're going to have to pry underneath the battery, being very careful not to bulge the battery at all. But usually these things just pry up. Actually, that was pretty easy. I wonder if this was serviced before. That came right out. So yep, there's your iPhone 4 battery right there. Yeah, I don't know if this is a like Apple genuine one or if this one was actually replaced. Oh yeah, it says Apple on the back there, but some of them have the Apple logo actually right on there. So there's the battery. Now what I can do is put the battery next to the 2 screws so that I know that this whole desk is going to be just a mess. Let me move the new screen out of the way. Alright, so now we've got an iPhone 4 with no battery. What we're going to do now is charge the battery pack. Man, I love when my camera decides to die right in the middle of making a video. When I started this, it said it had like 30 minutes remaining, and we're down to, it's asking me to plug it in. So hang on, let me go do that really fast. So we're back. I plugged the camera in. I hope the audio sounds okay, by the way. I am using my new Blue Snowball microphone, which I used in one other video, and a lot of you guys said, you know, that you liked it better. Some of you guys actually said that you like my old microphone better. So, you know, let me know again in this video if it sounds better or not. Okay, so I was trying to peel this out of the iPhone, and I wasn't reading it right. You're supposed to do this to take the battery out. But the battery just came out without doing this. So this has to stay in here, but it's a good thing that I moved it because it does have to move out of the way for this next part. Alright, dock connector cable. Remove the following screws. We got to get this little cable right there. You know, this little shield. Alright, so what I've kind of done is put the screws right back in there. I don't know if the camera's going to focus on it, but yeah. So move this right over here. Okay. Next up, we got to remove the metal. Okay, we did that. Use the edge of the plastic removing tool to pry the dot cable. We got to pry this dot cable up from the logic board. So gonna reach in there. It's actually, this is such a very convenient shaped tool. It works like it's made to get in there, which it probably was. So that is the dot connector cable that we just removed. So that was probably the cable that would actually work with the, obviously the dot connector. That's why we call the dot connector cable. We now need to peel the connector off the adhesive. Okay, so this is going to be, oh well, it's just peeling off, right? Okay, so it peels right off. Then we move it to the side, and now we got to get underneath here to pry the cellular antenna up. Okay, so this little guy right here, this little tiny thing is the cellular antenna. I don't know if the camera is focusing on that, but it's that little thing right there. So we're just going to take this opening tool, reach in there, and pull it up, and there we go. We have removed the cellular antenna from the logic board. So what I'm going to do now is get my toolkit here, because it's going to be a lot easier to do this next step with tweezers, and they don't include tweezers in the kit here. So I'm going to open this up and grab a pair of iFixit tweezers here. Oh, well, that's nice. The little cap thing broke. That's not good. See, I thought I had... Did I lose a pair of tweezers? I guess I must have. Huh. Well, that sucks. I don't know where those tweezers went. Okay, well, we've got an iFixit tweezer set right here. And yes, this is the older iFixit ProTech toolkit. The only major problem I've had with this is that the included like screwdriver head, like the actual, like the whole piece, not like any of the actual bits, it's small, which is great for working in things like this, but when I'm trying to open up something like the back of a computer case, I've had to go get a regular sized Phillips screwdriver because the one in here is too small to be able to open that. So yeah, that's kind of annoying, but kind of off topic. So what we're going to do is use the tweezers. We're going to reach right in here, and I would probably zoom in, but I'm probably going to forget. I mean, let me just do it. Let's zoom in here to show you kind of what. Yeah, that's a little bit better. If I actually keep the iPhone here, it would probably work a little bit better. So what we got to do is reach right in here. See, this is the thing. Like, I have it set up, but I'm like way back here, so I can't really see it super well, and I'm like leaning into the microphone. So, alright, I'm just going to have to do this off camera. Yeah, I think this iPhone's been worked on before or something, because there's supposed to be a little ring around. See, let me zoom out here so you can move the iPhone up here. There's supposed to be a ring around this little ring here, and it's missing. And I have a feeling it was because it was worked on before, but I don't know. Maybe this is its first time being opened. So what we gotta do now is get this shield plate right here. We gotta get it out. So we've got a bunch of more Phillips screws. Okay. So we finally got that out. So I'm gonna put this over here and put all these screws, like that one's the top one. This is the middle one. Right there. This is the very bottom, and then this one is the top. Yeah, these are gonna get mixed up. There's no doubt these are gonna get mixed up. I mean, look at this. This is not, like, never do this. Don't just lay the parts out with the screw. Like, it's just asking to be mixed up, and it's gonna end up getting mixed up. But again, do as I say, not as I do. Anyway, let's move on to, I don't know, what do we gotta do next? Well, let me get the iPhone in frame first of all. We're going, okay, we've removed that out of the case. Okay, now we got to pry the rear camera connector, which is this guy right here. Got to remove that from the logic board. So to do that, we grab one of these guys, the plastic opening tools, and just pry it up. Oh, and the whole camera pops right out. Well, that's nice. This is, I believe this is the ring. This right here sits underneath the camera, so I gotta have that set out for it. So there's your front-facing camera, or not really front-facing. Does it say rear? Yeah, rear-facing. This is the front-facing. So this is the rear-facing camera on the iPhone. Pretty, pretty neat. I forget what, like how many megapixels. I think this was like an 8 megapixel camera. I forget how like how big the sensor was. But so there's our little hole in the corner where the camera once was. So make sure we keep that together. We're going to remove the SIM card. It like says on the iFixit guide, like because it has to have you take out the SIM card, and it says this may require a significant amount of force, and it's like it's the SIM card. You don't need a huge amount of force for that. At least I don't think so. I mean, I've removed SIM cards before. So what I gotta do is grab, because they did not include. Gosh, I've got so much stuff in this junk drawer. I know I have a paper clip. Okay, so we got a, paper clip, or whatever you want to call this. We're gonna open it up here. You're gonna reach, and I wonder if there's even a SIM card in here. I don't think there is, but I'm gonna not show it on camera if there is. There probably. Oh, yep. There's an AT&T. No, there's a Sprint. There's a Sprint. Let me cover up the number there. See it right there? Sprint SIM card. So that's interesting. I thought it was AT&T because the back of it was blue. So that's interesting. But so there's our little SIM card tray. We're gonna move. I don't know if the phone actually, like, if it has like a bad ESN or anything. It might. So the SIM card might not even work. But again, the phone was $2, so we got this out. So the SIM card's out. Next, we got to get the logic board. So we got a bunch of connectors to remove. All of these guys right up here all need to be removed. So we're now going to take this right here. We're going to detach them all from the logic board. So we've got, this right here. Okay, we got to remove that. There we go. Remove this one right here. These usually don't take a whole lot of force to remove. And then is that it, or is there these up here? Okay, we've got the 4 connectors removed from the logic board. So there's what that looks like. We got to remove a tiny screw grounding. This is the ground screw, right, or the ground clip. There's a little screw right there. We're going to remove that. So there we go. There's our little grounding screw, or screw to the grounding plate, or the grounding clip, whatever it's called. So we're going to, we've got that, and use a spudger to pry the small grounding clip off. So we'll use the prying tool, and we'll do the same thing. So just pry that right off. There we go. There we go. Whole thing just comes right off. So we'll put, see, where did I put that screw at? There it is. So this is the screw that goes to that. This is going to be a pain to get back together. It's way easier taking it apart. Then we got to find where all these little screws go, and we got to make sure we put them in right and don't put one thing before the other. It's just going to be a mess, but whatever. As I always say, that's all the fun in these videos. There's a standoff right here that we need to remove. So they included a flathead screwdriver, so that is nice. Just turn that, and the standoff comes right out. Perfect. So I kind of have it laid, like all the parts, just like kind of laid out, like, okay, like this is the first part all the way up to the last, but we'll see how well that works for me. Okay, so right here, move this clip out of the way. This is not going to be easy to do. Okay, so this little piece of tape right here covers that screw. So we need to remove that. So this is going to be very difficult to do while on camera. So I'm just going to bring it all over here so I can see what I'm doing. All right, more this is like, I don't even think we're halfway done with this guide yet. It said that this takes 1 to 2 hours. So if the video isn't 1 to 2 hours long, which it probably won't be, it means I've done some editing to it. There's some screws underneath this ribbon cable right here. Like, this is such an easy design to work with if you're just removing the battery and changing the battery out, but for the screen, it is a major pain. Okay, so what we got to do is grab, they're all Phillips, and well, there's one standoff pin. So we got to remove, there's a 2.4 millimeter screw right in, I'm zooming the camera for this, right here, I believe. Yep, just remove that one. Alright, so the logic board should come out. So what we got to do is start carefully with the logic board. from the end closest to the speaker enclosure, so that's right here. So this end, do this on camera for you guys. So this should just lift up right here. There we go. And then, oh, look at this. Just move these out of the way. Move these out of the way. And it's attached. What is it attached to? Oh, I forgot to remove a... Silly me, I forgot to remove this little thing there. Okay, there we go. So, there is our logic board for the iPhone. So right in here, we've got pretty much everything that makes the phone, you know, like all the internals of the phone work. It's just amazing. I mean, you know, like the iPhone 4S is like, I don't know how many years old now, 4 or 5 years old. It's still cool, you know, like just to go back and see. I mean, this is like a whole computer basically on this tiny little board. So yeah, there it is. Alright, so we're gonna set the iPhone down here. Next we need to remove the, you know, little vibrating motor thingy that, you know, makes the phone vibrate. We're going to grab, I think it just comes out with prying it out. So this is it, right? Yeah, so just reach under here and it should pop right off. Man, so that had some adhesive on it. That took a while to get out, but there it is. There's the little vibrating motor. Pretty tiny. So we'll set that there. Next, we got to tackle the speaker assembly in there. So this is going to be great. So now the whole speaker, basically, you know, the actual speakers come right out. And what we got to make sure when we connect this is that this guy, I guess, is not being covered by anything, because this is the cellular antenna, right? Or the Wi-Fi antenna. So there we go. So this, we'll set this down. This goes on this side along with this screw, and this goes on this side here. So now we got a pretty bare looking iPhone. It's just, you know, looks like a piece of metal at this point with a screen on the back. Although we got to remove all this stuff up here. So we're at step 30 right now. There are a total of 41 steps, so we have 11 steps to go. So step 30, display assembly. We got to remove a piece, so we're looking back up on this corner right here. There's a piece of black tape covering the display mounting tabs. So there's a little piece of tape here that we got to remove with probably this. So this is another 1.5 millimeter screw, but it is a different thickness, so we don't want to use these by, and this is going to be, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on camera, guys, because it's very, very awkward angle. Alright, so there's another extremely tiny screw that is going to be very difficult to get back in because of just the way it's in there. So there's another one here. And I think there's one in all these four corners. So there's one, I mean, look at, like, you have to get, it's up here, like, put in like this. So you got to get the screwdriver right in there so that it doesn't, like, rubbing against any of these other parts. And you still, it's very, just very difficult. I think I've got it. Alright, so we got those four corner screws out. Now we need to get, we don't have to take these screws out. We just have to loosen them to allow the actual display assembly to be loosened from the chassis. So we're going to reach right in here and just kind of loosen these guys up. Okay, so we got these screws loosened. Man, this is almost like an hour-long video. We now need to use this guy, get underneath the top of the phone here, and start to pry. Oh, look at that. It's coming right off. So there we go. There's our old screen. Look at that right down there. I don't know if you can see it, but it says amhbuy.com. So I think this might be a third-party screen. I'm not sure, but we're going to grab the new one anyway. And now what we got to do is, oh, look at that. The whole thing is, I thought I was going to have to take these cables off and put them on the new one, but look at that. It's already done for us. So all we got to do is grab the home button off of here. So I think to do the home button, you just kind of have to get underneath this gasket or thingy right here and just, so there's our home button right there. Look at that. So we just gotta transfer this over to the new screen. There we go. So that is in there. And now starts the reassembly process, which is going to be great. We do need to remove the little protective red panel here, so we just slide right up on that. What we got to do now is run the screen cables, you know, these guys, we got to run it through here. So, you know, just make sure those are all in there, which it looks like they are. So there we go. There's our freshly installed screen on the iPhone 4 or 4S. Just gotta, now what we gotta do is tighten these screws back up on the side. Alright, so we jumped a little bit. I have been able to basically reassemble the whole phone. I just have to put the battery back in. As I was like reassembling it, I noticed this little piece right here stuck on, like it was stuck onto the adhesive, like the battery adhesive, just like that. It might be from the old screen, and that's what I'm hoping for, but I don't know at this point. I mean, if the phone doesn't boot up, it might be because of this, but yeah, we're pretty much ready to go. I don't really think we have, I forget what that piece was used for. I don't know. I'm just going to try to put the battery back in and just see what happens. You know, so we're going to take the battery, put it right in there, and we're going to reconnect it to, the battery's now live, and let's see what happens. And it is not turning on. I don't know what I did wrong. I mean, maybe it's got to be charged. Let's try to plug it in. Well, I put the iPhone back together for the most part, and it does work. The iPhone does, you know, you can see there, it is, you know, with a new screen and everything, it responds to touch, and it responds to the home button. The lock button, however, doesn't do anything, and I think that might have something to do with this cable that ripped off. I don't know, but I mean, hey, it was $8 for the screen, it was $2, so I spent $10 on this thing, and you know, that's just pretty awesome to have around. I was able to fix it, so you know, that is pretty cool. At least sort of fix it. I mean, you know, now it works. It's, you know, got a working screen on it, but I don't know what happened with the lock button. Maybe I did something wrong. I'll have to go back and, you know, watch the footage. Maybe, you know, you guys can tell in the footage where that I messed up, but I have a feeling it's got something to do with this cable that, you know, just ripped off. This is a black iPhone 4S. I think I have a black iPhone 4S already, so, you know, I got, you know, like one here that I can use for spare parts or, you know, whatever. I don't know if it's iCloud locked. Yeah, that is going to end up wrapping it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this very off-the-cuff style video. If you did, you know, definitely be sure to give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below, you know, telling me guys what you think. As always, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.